Hello everyone. If you are one of those twin flames who are born on Earth, it's just let's just start from the basics. You're basically a soul experiencing a human experience on Earth. Since many have forgotten their actual identity and power comes together. Once you realize who you are, you can exercise that power. Usually, twins are sent to a family of a lot of toxic behavior to break that toxic cycle, that generation cycle. Usually, they are the one who are born into family where lots of abuse, neglect, toxicity goes on. Because twins are unconditionally loving. They are born into family like that to break that. They remain empathetic, black sheep of the family. And when suddenly they realize that they never been, loved and supported the way they loved everybody, and they reach their least human experience in their life, they're supposed to manifest their equal because they desire for somebody exactly like them. Because nothing feels something even closer to satisfying them, because nothing satisfied them before that. Only they can satisfy themselves, but they don't realize it because they don't value themselves, because of the negative upbringing, because of that constant toxicity they were grown into. They never valued themselves, they never loved themselves, they never put themselves first. They always please somebody else, always alert, cautious about what if somebody gets upset on them, codependent on somebody else, whether it's for financial support, emotional support, or anything like that. Grew up with a belief system, whether it's a religious belief system, social, culture, family background. It forced them to believe that doing XYZ is their responsibility. So they were grown into abandoning themselves, self sacrificing, giving too much, letting everybody walk over them. Means basically abandoning themselves and handing themselves to others so easily, even to strangers, because they're full of love. So, when these people reach a place of sudden realization, that they reach a place where they feel so broken to the point that they start to long for somebody who would give them. Suddenly, they want to be at the receiving end, and they want somebody to give them that love, affection, support, time, sincerity, loyalty. Whatever they give, they themselves give to others for free, even to strangers, to animals, to regular people, in their family or anybody. So what happens is, usually twins live some kind of, their core is same. So when two people long for each other, usually universe brings them together. That is how usually twin flame union happens. Though I never met my twin, that is how it is. It is just to make us. If usually what happens is, they usually divine feminine has nothing to do with the gender. A man can be a divine feminine as well. Usually woman is the divine feminine. It can be man too. Usually what happens is, divine feminine is the one who start to manifest that and seeing his, he or she, whatever that it is, gender is not important. The divine feminine is usually in a wounded feminine state, forgetting who she is, what her power is, feeling like devastated, wanting somebody to come and save him or her, whoever the divine feminine is. And suddenly they are ready to break every belief system that they were raised into, because it no longer, supported them. It's like it cannot be my life anymore, that kind of a realization. So basically, when that happens, when they meet, that attraction, everything, and what happens is they were raised in such a way that self-acceptance is, there was no self-acceptance for that. Means they see divine feminine. I'm speaking about divine feminine. They see a lot of default faults lacking in them. Um, they don't respect themselves. They don't give time to themselves. So their twin does the exact same thing. So no matter what they do, either they reject each other, or if they ended up dating, they woman, the divine feminine. Sorry, it's so funny now because it's been a long time. I never met my twin, but that's how it is. It is just that whatever divine feminine feels about themselves, whether it's a man or a female, I'll just to explain. In this case, I'll consider this divine feminine as a female. So when she doesn't accept herself, when she doesn't, gives herself her own time, her twin feels the same way, that she looks ugly, she looks fat, or this is not acceptable behavior, this is okay, this is not okay, this is okay, this is not okay, until this divine feminine start to romance her own self, start to look at her own self as some kind of a miracle. Oh, I'm amazing, I'm lovable, I have so many good qualities, I'm worthy of love. I'm not giving my life and love that easily to people for free. Then the same thing, the twins started doing that. It takes a lot. It looks like a very toxic relationship to other people. But what happens is, if it is a karmic relationship, people usually break and completely separate. But what happens with the twins is, because of their love towards each other, because nobody else loved them the way they loved each other, because of the love that they received from each other, they decided to break away from every toxic belief system, every toxic behaviors, every toxic assumption, thoughts, and chooses that love that creates harmonious union between each other. And one thing that can allow happen is they have to heal themselves. Means they cannot rely on each other. That is the point, because as the souls, we are a perfect beings, a complete beings, we do not lack anything. The idea of somebody else walking into our life making us happy is a human understanding. What happens with the twin is, because the trauma of the childhood drama is the reason when a divine feminine starts to desire that her twin or life partner or whoever that it is do this, that. But what happens is, because of her own subconscious training, her twin also does the same thing that gives her the wound, divine feminine. So it pushes the divine feminine either to drop the twin flame connection and to move on to a soulmate. If she decided to stick and choose that, it's the responsibility. Divine helps, universe helps. It's just that lot of coping mechanism, lots of addictions, lot of negative behavior, they have forgotten. Usually these wounded feminine, what happens is they don't love themselves enough, they don't respect themselves enough. They desire for it, they don't, because they let others take them for granted. They let others take their things easily, and they say it's okay, fine. For example, I'll give you, it is such a small thing, it shows up in the smallest of the things. For example, if a divine feminine does something kinder to others, and if somebody else says thank you, they can't even say you're welcome. They can't even accept a single thank you. Saying that energetically, oh, I haven't done anything. I don't have to say thank you. means they even reject a simple thank you without realizing, because that is how they were raised into, and they end up thinking that is being humble, that is how it is, that is how it should be, we should be good, we should be doing that, this is normal behavior. No, energy wise universe absorb everything. So when a divine feminine starts to see her own worth, and suddenly she starts to romance her own self, she thinks that she's pretty. She's no, she used to nitpick on herself. Suddenly, she loves herself because her twin her gave her that much of a pain and insult. Nobody had given. And if a divine feminine decides to come out of that, any addiction if she was in, if it is a man, that is how it is. A divine feminine, you can take it. Any gender can be that, man or a female. Usually, it is a female coming out of that victim mentality, and when she starts to manifest the life that she desires, because ultimately she desired herself to be a certain thing and she couldn't achieve it before that. Her twin also expected the same thing from her. Despite him loving her, he cannot accept her because, for example, if a man desired his wife to be having a job in a certain way and be financially independent, to accept. And even if he falls in love with her twin because of the attraction, because it's his own self and nobody loves him more, he's hiding her in front of his friends, his family, not introducing her. Why? Because it feels shameful for him to accept her because she doesn't have a job or something like that, or she looks different, or she's from different culture backgrounds, from different social background, from another financial situation, etc., etc., whatever the reason is. So it's only because she felt lesser about herself because of the same reason. So once she is able to either completely accept herself, no matter what, from my own spirit guardians, I learned that it is just our worth doesn't come from how we look, how healthy we are, what kind of family we belongs to, what kind of financial situation that we are in, what achievement we have done, our education, our looks, our age, nothing. Our worth comes from us accepting ourselves completely. I am whatever I am, and I'm good enough for me, without ego, and realizing that my worth is not in anything that is in this world, it's inside. Since this wounded feminine has always sacrificed, lived for others, felt lesser about herself, that inferiority complex and insecurity and codependency, for example, financially depending on somebody else, emotionally depending on somebody else, something. So unless it's her job to, if she wants to reunion with her twin, she take on lots of karmic burden of her own family and something for her own twin as well. It's a lot of work. So basically what she has to realize, that whatever she is wonderful. If a divine feminine comes to a point and to accept that, self-acceptance, practice self-love, self-respect, have a very high self-worth without the ego, and being absolutely authentic, means she lives for herself. She says things, doesn't act, respond, react, everything just authentic without even caring what the other people thinks. That is exactly authentic. Being authentic means no means no, yes means yes. She doesn't care, if somebody, how they behave when they are absolutely alone, how they would live if nobody actually, if they didn't have to care about anybody else's opinion. That is being absolutely authentic. When a divine feminine does that, her twin reciprocates that emotion and accepts her as well. So basically, the fear of losing each other, fear of cheating on each other, or being, abandoned by the twin, or anything that comes because they felt that about themselves. So if a divine feminine heals her own childhood trauma, there are a lot of ways to do it. One, coming out of the codependency. Second thing, mirror work, and lot of physical, mental affirmation to remove and replace that subconscious negative training and replace that with positive thoughts, cutting ties with anything that's egoistical, and removing that self-sabotaging behavior. When we accept ourselves, we can accept ourselves means whatever we do, we acknowledge ourselves as, yeah, this is what I did, that is good enough. There is no shame, there is no guilt, there is no inferior complexity, there is no lesser feeling, whatever we are. We don't compare ourselves to somebody else. But most importantly, we accept ourselves. So there are a lot of things out there. When she's able to do that and comes out of that codependency, when she herself feels like, now she is fine. And either she has to accept without, she has to change her own mind and accept herself as she is without achieving anything, or going after the thing that she thought she had to achieve to accept herself. It is two of the ways. Then the twin accept her as well. Usually, it's better to come out of the codependency. Usually, twins are sent to Earth for two reasons. One, project or work to do for others, for example, to help animals, to help children, or something like that. That's one. Second, their personal goal to create a harmonious relationship with each other, because it increases the vibrations of the earth, because two people longing for each other, breaking every generational curse, choosing each other. Basically what happening is, through twin flames, there are beings from the divine world trying to increase the vibrations of the earth, breaking the toxic cycles of the families. So a lot of people came to earth because of that. So if you're twin flame, it's up to you. Whenever you get upset over your twin, it means that you are upset over yourself, because your twin is your reflection. Putting yourself first, be in a place of receiving mode, not to reject when something good happens, absolute self-acceptance, practice that self-love, being absolutely gentle and kind to the self, have very high self-worth, being absolutely authentic, and always listen to the heart and follow the heart's guidance. Never reject a wish that comes from within. That is how we can be authentic and accept ourselves as it is. No need to prove a single thing from anybody. You don't need a single validation from anybody. That is how it is. It's like romancing our own self. Until then, usually what happens is, this wounded divine feminines, they look at everybody else and they think they are wonderful. That quality is wonderful. I want that quality. I want to be that way. Neglecting the qualities they already have. So their twin ends up doing the same thing. The moment they realized how valuable they are, they start to, when that wound starts to heal, when they become divine feminine from wounded feminine, their twin reflects that. It is just that wounded feminines are supposed to turn themselves into divine feminine and manifest a life that they think that they deserve. Can bring them that reunion, and they have to be in that place. It's just that you have to remember who you are. You have to use that power of our own soul to manifest the life that we want. Self-acceptance, live authentically, follow our heart, have a very self-high worth, love ourselves more, self-love, self-respect, and break every negative belief system, every negative behavior system, and replace that with a positive belief and behavior system. And make ourselves the reason of our happiness. Whatever comes from the twin is different. Now, not depending on the twin for the happiness is a key, because divine feminine are not the weakest link. They are just forgotten. I just hope you all understand. So it is not a toxic relationship, but if you don't want it, you don't want it. Nobody can force it. If you desire for that, then that inner work has to be done. It takes a lot for a lot of people with a lot of family trauma, and if you lived in a family for more than 3 or 4 decades of your life, then that can be really hard work. Everybody's life Every twin's life is different. Sometimes you may meet in your 20s. You can come from completely different background, different religion, different society, different age even, because you think you cannot accept each other for some reason, but that's how it works. Anyway, it's up to you to do whatever you want to do with your life if you are the divine feminine. Start loving yourself, putting yourself first, because you're important. That is what divine wants to remember. You decide in your life and your twin follows you. You have to remember that. Not the other way around. No matter who he is, you decide, divine feminine, what should happen in your life, and that another twin has to follow you in 3D at least. Well, that's how it is.